Ooh, all right. All right. Welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show. Obviously, sorry for being a little bit late today. Had to sort out a few technical difficulties, but should be all good. And yeah, welcome everyone to, as I said, the El Toro La Liga show. Obviously, talking about La Liga, and this is a very special week in La Liga because this is Retro weekend. Yes, that means that the kits that the teams will be wearing will be retro, meaning that most of the kits that teams will wear are from past editions of La Liga and all that sort of stuff. And it's also going to be in the Segunda as well. So yeah, it's been I mean, I can't really edit the whole background. I would have, but yeah, it should be a very exciting weekend in La Liga because it's not only retro weekend, but this is the final weekend before next week, which is the Copa del Rey final. So when we talk about Atleti and La Real, we'll talk more on them next week, obviously. But there will be a preview for that game when it does come out next Friday. Obviously, talking about it, live stream, live reaction, and preview of the Copa del Rey final, and including a live watch along of it when the day arrives. But yeah, before we get started, please give it the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and obviously let me know you guys' thoughts on each of the games that will be happening in La Liga for the retro weekend. And we might as well get started. Let me just get it up here. With the first game we have, it is Real Madrid taking on Girona. This is the Friday night. This is, well, in about a few minutes from now. Real Madrid against Girona. In terms of the win probability, you have 72% for Real Madrid, 15% for draw, and 13% Girona win. Now, obviously, this is only just 3 days after Real Madrid were defeated at the Bernabeu against Bayern Munich, but they will go to Munich on Wednesday, so they have a Friday to Wednesday turnaround. So it's actually they have a long sort of break in a way to prepare themselves for that game in Munich. So no surprise they put this one. And when you look at the league table, that loss against Mallorca, I did say they would not win that game against Mallorca. They ended up, I said draw, but they ended up losing. And that's what happened. They lost to Mallorca, if I'm not mistaken, last weekend, which means because of Barcelona's win, it is a 7-point gap with about 8 games to go, obviously. So it is going to be a really big one in La Liga for Real Madrid. I mean, I'll be honest, it feels like we'll see from how they perform in tonight's game against Girona, whether they're going to take La Liga now seriously and go all in for the Champions League. I'll say never, famous Justin Bieber song, but there could be a remontada in Munich by Real Madrid, but time will tell. Time will tell. But yeah, not looking good for Real Madrid in terms of winning La Liga this season. Barcelona currently quite comfortably now 7 points clear at the top. Meanwhile, Girona, with their win last weekend, means that they are closing into the European places. It seems like because the Premier League or England has secured the extra Champions League spot. Right now, Spain currently holds that spot. Though we might lose probably one, or well, we will definitely lose most likely Barcelona on Tuesday. But yeah, there are still some good La Liga sides still in the other European competitions, which I'm going to love to talk about the team from Galicia, which is not that poor. You know who they're frauds, I would say. But yeah, Girona right now closing in for the European places. They look more likely to get into Europe than get relegated or be in the relegation battle. They are 8 points clear, so they're in a good spot right now. And we'll just quickly look at the lineup: Lunin in goal, Carvajal, Asensio, Militao, Garcia with um, Valverde, Camavinga, Bellingham, yeah, Brahim, Vinny, and Mbappe. So a pretty strong lineup, you would say. As for Girona, you have Gazaniga, Moreno, Reis, Sanchez, Martinez. You have Martin, Witzel, Lamar, Onahi, Echeverri, and Chichanskov. So, sorry for the butchering of the name. But yeah, in terms of my prediction, I mean, Real Madrid have to win, obviously, but just to get themselves that sort of confidence booster ahead of that game in Munich. So I'm going for a. I'll actually go with a comfortable win. I'll go 3-0 Real Madrid. I'll go 3-0. That'll be my prediction. Yeah. All right. Next up, we do have for tomorrow. And that was a long preview, actually. But yeah, lots to talk about with Real Madrid. But yeah, the next game we do have is Real Sociedad taking on Alavés. So this is Sociedad's final game before the Copa del Rey final. So they'll try to get their sort of hopes up and confidence up. Win probability 55% for Sociedad, 25% for draw, and only 20% for Alaves. When you look at the win probability and the sort of streak that Sociedad are on, I mean, they want to get in. There's a potential. They could get Champions League football. They are only 4 points off of Betis, and Betis probably now are looking like they're going for the Europa League. It seems like. So look, a win for Sociedad. Look, you get yourselves into the potential Champions League spot alongside potentially winning the trophy next Saturday on the 18th. So you never know. But they're a bit on and off with their form. But I mean, Alaves, it's been okay. I mean, they got a draw against Osasuna. They did a remontada against Celta just before the international break. So they kind of helped themselves out, but they're still in that sort of danger zone. I mean, of certain results, they could be right back in the relegation zone. So I think it'll be very difficult for Alaves to really push on, though they are unbeaten in the last 3 La Liga games. So in terms of my prediction, I'm going to give the confidence booster for Sociedad. I'm going 2-0 for Sociedad, and also this is a Basque derby, technically. Next up, we do have is Elche taking on Valencia in La Liga. Obviously, Elche not in a good spot. Valencia on and off. Elche 38% win probability, 29% for draw, and 33% Valencia win. You have to scroll all the way down. Look at Valencia right now. I mean, had they beaten Celta, they would have been on 38 points, probably even, be closing in for those spots in for Europe, potentially. Whereas Elche, I mean, they lost last weekend. They have to win. They have to win this game at home against a somewhat struggling Valencian team. But it does seem a little bit too difficult to see where Elche really get results, because they're just not doing well overall in La Liga the second half of the season. Meanwhile, Valencia, at least they're trying to pull away. But if they lose this game, then you could drag them back into that potential relegation battle. But in terms of this, I mean, it is technically also a derby, you could say, both from Valencian community. But I'm going for a draw. I'm going 1-1 in this one. 1-1 would be my prediction. And what a way for Barcelona to prepare themselves for the Champions League game. We have Barcelona against Espanyol. This is the Catalonian derby. Finally, obviously, this is the probably the game of the weekend. In terms of it being a derby game. But yeah, Barcelona not in a good shape after losing to Espanyol. Not Espanyol. I mean, they kind of hope Espanyol, but against Atleti, whereas Espanyol are still. I'm saying it like every single day. Espanyol have yet to win a game in the year of the Lord 2026, and it's April. We're heading into mid-April. Not great. 75% win probability for Barcelona, 14% for draw, 11% Espanyol. I'll be honest, depending on what happens tonight with the Real Madrid game, Barcelona should really be beating Espanyol in this sort of game. I just think that they're just going to be a little bit too strong for them. And also Espanyol, as I said, haven't fucking won a game all year, or 2026 at least. So not great for them. In terms of a prediction, I mean, not much. I just think that this is not really the time for Espanyol. Though it would be really cool if they actually win their first La Liga game or the first game of 2026 against their rivals. But I'll go 3-1 Barcelona. That'll be my prediction in the Derby de Barcelona. 3-1. And then next up we do have is Atletico Madrid taking on Sevilla away at Sevilla actually, which is obviously it's not really Atleti's final game before the Copa del Rey final, but this is the final La Liga game before the Cup final, and lots to get into for both teams actually. In terms of win probability, 38% Sevilla win, 30% for a draw, 32% Atleti win. Now, let me first talk on Atleti. Atleti, next weekend, they're in the Copa del Rey final. Champions League, they have a 2-goal lead heading into the Wanda Metropolitano. And you just know, I'll be honest, there's a potential that Atleti just completely rotates their team and go all in for the Champions League second leg game and obviously the Copa del Rey final. So there's a potential that Athletic can also drop points. I mean, they've lost the last 2 games, which is not, I'll be honest, no surprise actually. Because look, they're going to secure the top 4, top 5, and all that sort of stuff, Champions League football next season, regardless. So that's good for them. So I can see them dropping points. We'll see tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Sevilla, maybe this is the best time to play Atleti, you know? Whereas Atleti are not really going to be very, I would say not really that serious. But Sevilla are in bad form. They are. I mean, not great. I mean, they lost to Oviedo, which I wasn't surprised because I think I predicted Oviedo to win. Yeah, it's not looking good for Sevilla. They are now looking like they could be in that relegation battle. I mean, they are. They've always have been this season, but I just don't know yet with this Sevilla side. But considering Atleti, I think they'll rotate. But I just don't think the quality that Sevilla have is going to be enough. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Just a mediocre 1-1 draw between the two sides. That'll be my prediction. Next up, we do have is Osasuna taking on Real Betis in Pamplona. So obviously, with this game, Osasuna are trying to chase the European places. If I'm not mistaken, they're in a European place right now, or just below it. Real Betis, I mean, they're still in the Europa League. They have a better shot of making it to the next round of the Europa League, considering that they do host the second leg this coming Thursday against Braga, and they drew 1-1 last 2 days ago, actually. So there has been a little bit of rest for Betis in between. Win probability 43% Osasuna, 27% for a draw, and 30% Betis win. And Betis actually haven't been on good form in La Liga. I don't remember the last time they won a La Liga game. That's how long it's actually been for Betis. And if they're not careful, they could miss out altogether, or and have teams chase them. I mean, Osasuna, or if Osasuna win, Osasuna close the gap to 4 points against Betis. So it is very important for both teams, but I just feel like Betis will probably now start putting their eggs in the basket of the Europa League. So I could actually see Osasuna picking up a win here. And I will go with an Osasuna win. I'm going 2-1. 2-1 for Osasuna to beat Betis. That'll be my prediction. And then next up we do have is Mallorca taking on Jesus Christ, I don't Rayo Vallecano. Yes. Mallorca versus Rayo Vallecano. I don't know why I whatever. But yeah, obviously, congratulations to Rayo Vallecano beating AEK Athens of Greece in the Europe Conference League last night, or this past evening, or last evening, whatever you want to call it. A 3-0 win. So impressive. And there's a chance that Rayo Vallecano are going into a Conference League semifinal. Or, no, who would have thought? Well, probably at the start of the season when they actually qualify for it, and considering Spanish clubs' record, there's a potential Rayo Vallecano can win the Conference League now. If they don't bottle it next Thursday. But I think Rayo Vallecano are actually in a very, very good position now to win it. Meanwhile, Mallorca, I mean, their win against Madrid helped them. 39% Mallorca win, 29% for a draw, 32% Rayo Vallecano win. Now, what is the mood with Rayo this season? Well, I don't know. Do they rest players in this game as well, and make sure you secure that Conference League game? Potentially. For Mallorca, I mean, is this also a good time to play Rayo Vallecano? You never know, and you're going to close the gap to only a point if you were to win, and you might pull away from the relegation zone if results go your way. So for Mallorca, this is actually a good potential time to play Rayo Vallecano in La Liga. But in terms of my prediction, I'll go for a draw. I'll also go 1-1 in this one. 1-1 between Mallorca and Rayo Vallecano. Next up, on Sunday, oh, this is fantastic. Get to cook. I get to cook. Because it is Celta Vigo, or as I like to say, Licio Vigo, taking on Real Oviedo. Celta, hold that. 3-0 loss in Alemania, in Germany. 3-0. Jesus Christ. They were, oh God, hyping themselves up and complaining. Well, you lost. Too bad. So sad. I mean, fantastic to see Freiburg win and Celta lose in the Europa League. It should have been Lyon, not Celta. But now, what's there for Celta? What, trying to get Champions League football and win at that? No. But in terms of the win probability for this particular game, 57% Celta Vigo win, 24% for a draw, and 19% for an Oviedo win. Now, as we see, Celta Vigo, well, they're only a point behind Betis, and we'll see what sort of response we'll get from both Betis and Celta Vigo for this weekend's games. But yeah, I guess they're in a good spot at the moment. So we'll see. Meanwhile, for Oviedo, yeah, they're still bottom, but they've picked up 7 points in the last 4 La Liga games, so it's actually not too bad. But it is it's a much better position they're in now. They beat Sevilla. If they win, they could go above Levante and potentially close the gap on Elche as well if Elche ends up losing an Oviedo win. So for Oviedo, it's not over yet, but it is going to be really difficult. They have to win this game, Oviedo, I feel like. Obviously, I want to see Oviedo win this game. But unfortunately, I think I have to back Celta, unfortunately. I'll go 3-1, unfortunately, for Celta. 3-1. Yeah, 3-1 Celta Vigo. Right, and then on the Sunday night game, somewhat, it is Athletic Club taking on Villarreal. Now, obviously, Villarreal are comfortably in the Champions League places. Athletic Club are struggling as usual. 41% Athletic Club win, 28% for a draw, and only 31% Villarreal win. Now, when you look at the league table, Villarreal, the third, but practically comfortably in the Champions League spots. They're going to get Champions League and, as usual, not do anything. What a waste. Meanwhile, for Athletic Club, I mean, they're still in the European race. They're only 3 points behind 8th place Getafe, and they could still get you up. But with Ernesto Valverde leaving by the end of the season, this is one of the last few home games that Valverde will have as Athletic Club manager. And I just think that overall, this is probably a very important game because Villarreal don't really have anything to play for. I mean, literally, they are the most boring team in La Liga technically because they're not going to finish above Real Madrid. They're not going to finish below Betis and stuff. They're not going to miss out on Champions League football. So what's the point? So in terms of this game, there feels like there might be more hunger with Athletic. So I'll go with a 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Athletic Club win. I think there might be more hunger in this Athletic Club team, especially playing at home this time around. 2-1 Athletic will be my prediction. And then Monday Night Football we do have is Levante. Let me sort this out. Monday Night Football, it is Levante taking on Getafe. This is probably Levante's chance, potentially, of trying to escape the relegation zone. Who knows? I mean, they're struggling now. Meanwhile, Getafe, they're technically right now in a European place. Jesus. And the win probability is quite even. 35% Levante win, 32% for a draw, 33% Getafe win. And you look at Getafe, apart from Barcelona, they are on the best run of form out of every team. They are, in terms of the last 5 games, Getafe have the second best form in La Liga, only behind Barcelona. And they're in a European place. And they could close the gap with Betis and Celta. Could they? Could they actually do it? Could they actually get Europe? I don't know. Meanwhile, for Levante, I mean, they got their first loss in quite a while, actually. But in terms of cost, it did affect them in that sense. I mean, they have to win this game now. They simply have to. I know Getafe is a very difficult team right now. but they have to win. Otherwise, I think they are not going to pick up enough points. I'll be honest, Levante. In terms of a prediction, I just think Getafe are just going to continue to be a strong team. Famous last words, they might lose. But I'm going 2-0. I'll go 2-0 for Getafe in the Monday night game. Oh my god, and then a motorbike. All right. Let me just sort some stuff out. Trying to get everything. Oh my god. Just let me sort it out. Jesus Christ. All right. Now switch over to here. All right, now it is time for the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of last weekend in La Liga. And obviously, there are not many candidates, I'll be honest. I mean, you could go with Boye, with Alavés. You could go with maybe like someone like Muriqi. You could go with someone like Lewandowski, scored the winner against Atleti, but now it doesn't really matter now, that sort of result in La Liga. I don't know if I've given him the El Toro de la Semana. I'm not quite sure. Give me some time to think. I might go with what's a team I haven't really done any sort of hope on. Let me actually check on Rayo. Who scored the 3 goals? Because I haven't really kept up sometimes with Rayo's results in the competition, but they've done themselves well. Ooh, in terms of El Toro de la Semana, I will go for. I don't really want to give it to Muriqi because I think I've given him before. I'll go for Oviedo player. Why not? I'll go Federico Viñas. Scored the winning goal against Sevilla, the only goal of that game. So yeah, I'll go with Federico Viñas of Oviedo to get the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the weekend. Obviously, keeping the faint hopes alive of Oviedo in La Liga. Will they survive? God knows. I mean, you just never know in this sort of league. Now I'm just trying to get up the Segunda for you guys. That's why I'm kind of scrolling by myself a little bit. Right, got it. All right, now it is time for the Segunda, which is also doing the Retro Weekend. Let me switch over. So the Segunda. Here we go. So in terms of the Segunda, this was the results of last weekend. You have Cordoba beating Cadiz, the two teams that are practically struggling with form. And then you have Burgos beating Albacete, huge win for Burgos. Deportivo won, Malaga won. Not the best result, but just we were winning near the end, and then Malaga got a draw. So not good for us. Meanwhile, Leonesa beat Valladolid in a Castilla Leon derby. So huge result and one of the first home wins all season. Eibar 3-0 win over Ceuta. You had probably the biggest. You think of Asna. You think of Lisho Vigo. Ladies and gentlemen, I've always said this. I was kind of hopeful. I didn't think this result would happen. Racing Santander 2 away, 2-0 lead in Andorra. Bro, they lost 6-2. They lost 6-2. Bro, these Racing Santander, they are the Asna of the Segunda. They are the Asna of the Segunda. This is why it really annoys me as a Deportivista. Like, we can beat the how can Andorra manage to score 6 on them, but we couldn't fucking score a goal from one of our own players in the 2 games we played them. We've lost both games against Santander, but we've seen Andorra beat them 6-2. Bro, come on. That's the most annoying. Like, Deportivo, God, we are so annoying. So annoying. And big up, it's probably my first time seeing you, Alan. I'll go with Alan. Hope you're doing well. Obviously, just reviewing now the Segunda. But yes, when you if you're watching, Andorra 6, Racing Santander 2. Santander were 2-0 up. These guys, I mean, they're still top, Santander, but they are the Asna. They are the Asna of the Segunda. I mean, God, they are big bolo jobs. I did it. I was like, okay, they might lose, but not like that. Not like 6-2. Jesus Christ. Moving on, we had Almeria 2-1 win against Leganes. Good result for Almeria. You also had Las Palmas being Huesca 2-1. Also good result for them. Literally, everyone's catching up. Everyone is catching up on Santander, on us, Depor. Like, you guys will see the table. You guys will see the table. And then probably the result that probably is the most painful. Zaragoza at home. They were on a decent run of form. Lost 2-1 to bottom of the league, or I think they're bottom still. Miranda's. Probably the result that Zaragoza didn't want, and it happened. Meanwhile, Castellon 3-2 winners over Granada. And then you have Sporting Gijón 1-0 win over Sociedad B. And then the upcoming games right now, the current game happening right now is Ceuta 0-0 against Sociedad B. To be honest, I don't really. That's one of the games I really don't care. No offense, Ceuta and the B team of Sociedad. Burgos taking on Gijón tomorrow, alongside at the same time Leganes against Albacete. And then you have Malaga taking on Las Palmas. This is I believe, 4th place against 5th place. So one of them is going to drop points. I don't know who I prefer to drop points, but you guys will see. Malaga, Las Palmas. Keep that in mind. You have Cordoba taking on Zaragoza. Zaragoza have to bounce back to give themselves a bit of hope. You have Granada taking on Leonesa. The big game, you guys can see from my drink. Deportivo, we are away at Huesca. And not only that, our current manager, Antonio Hidalgo, he was the manager of Huesca last season. And this is his first game back at Huesca. So, but Huesca now in the relegation zone. Therefore, we're trying to get automatics now. Like this, considering the other games that you guys see at the bottom right here, like the bottom right of your screen, there's a chance, potential chance, that boy could be top of the Segunda, or at least top 2, back in the top 2. This game against Huesca, and I did a watch along for this back in September, I believe. I think it was September. And Deportivo won 4-0. This is probably the most crucial game of the season for Depor. I think Depor have to win the next 2 games. Huesca and Mirandas. Those are the next 2 games. Both teams in the relegation zone. But knowing the Segunda and knowing Deportivo, they probably drop points against both of them. So, yeah. I still have to back Depor because we have a good away form. I'll go 2-1 Deportivo. I hope. This is a must win. This is a must win considering how the other teams are playing. They're playing against each other. You know, I'll go 2-1 Depor. That's with a little bit of hope. Please let Retro Weekend be good for Depor. And then you have Cadiz taking on Andorra. You have Miranda's taking on Castellon. You have Racing Santander against Almeria. This is now the battle of the top two right now on Sunday night. And then on Monday night, you have Valladolid taking on Eibar. And then there will actually be games this upcoming next weekend in the Segunda. But remember what I said? It's Malaga against Las Palmas and Racing Santander against Almeria. Let me guys show you. I'll actually show you. I might have to zoom out a bit. This is the top 8. There you go. Let me see. Do you guys see? Yeah, this is the top 8. The top 8 of the Segunda. You have Racing Santander with 62 points, and in 8th place, Eibar, 54. I don't know how or where Eibar have come from, but they're picking up form at probably the best time. Like, bro, I did not expect them to be anywhere near the playoffs, or heck, Jesus, I hope not. The automatics. So when you think about it, I think the top 6, basically the top 2 get automatic, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th gets into the playoff for La Liga. I think the top 6 will come from these 8 teams. These 8 teams in the Segunda, I think, will make up the top 6. I don't know in which order, and I hope Depor do not. The unlucky. Imagine being this team that finishes 7th or 8th, considering how close it is. I mean, Depor, we are literally 3 points away from being somehow bottom or of this pack, almost being outside of the playoff. This is why I say it's crucial, because when you look at the fixtures, I said Almeria are taking on Racing Santander. That's a head-to-head clash. One of them's going to drop points. I said Las Palmas are taking on Malaga. That's a head-to-head clash. Someone could drop points there. Yeah, Castellon kind of picked up a bit of form, but, you know, they haven't looked impressive still, I'll be honest. This is the opportunity for... This is why I said must win for Depor. Must win. And then when you look at the difference between 8th and 9th, it's 5 points. I'll be honest, I do not see... I mean, there is still a possibility, but I just don't see Gijon, Ceuta, Andorra on 46, Cordoba on 45 to really make... I think the only possible one might be Gijon that might push for maybe a playoff, but I just think it's too late with only 8 games to go. And then obviously after this weekend, there will be 7 games to go. So yeah, I do not see any of these teams by the end of the season, the 42 game season, to be in the top 6. And then you have Albacete on 44, Granada on 42, Sociedad B currently on 41, and all that. You have Leganes on 39 points. You have Valladolid also on 39 points. Both are in a really bad spot for now. And then you have Cadiz just above the relegation zone, though it's 4 points, but they are just above the relegation zone. Now the bottom 4 are the teams in the relegation zone. You have the 2 teams from Aragon, and you have the 2 teams from Castilla y Leon. Unfortunate. Zaragoza, that loss to Miranda's, killed a lot of confidence off of the... I don't know. It felt like it knocked the stuffing out of them. Meanwhile, Miranda is actually picking up form. I hope they're not going to continue that form after 2 games. I hope. But yeah, as I said, Deportivo, we play Huesca, and then next weekend we play Mirandes on this... Well, next month, not this upcoming Monday, the Monday the 20th, which I may do a watch along for. May. Not guaranteed. It's scheduled, but not sure. So yeah, you have Mirandes. Then Leonessa. So literally any of these four teams. I mean, they're all in the relegation zone, so it doesn't matter. But you have to start catching up now because it's just going to be these four. Right now, it just looks like it will be these four that go down by the end of the season. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. So yeah, huge weekend in the race for promotion and survival. So yeah, obviously, this has been a pretty decent El Toro La Liga show. Obviously, retro weekend it is. Um, so looking forward to seeing the retro kits for the games for this weekend. Most of them. Just before we go, let me quickly just check right now. It is with the Real Madrid Girona game. Has there been a goal? No, no goal as of now. Maybe we'll get one probably after this ends. But it should be a really interesting week in the in both La Liga and the Segunda, with the Copa del Rey happening in next Saturday, which I will for sure do a watch on because that one I'm looking forward to. With Atletico Madrid taking on Real Sociedad. Huge game, huge game. And obviously with the Champions League and all that sort of stuff, which I'll also be doing. But I will be doing a show literally just after this, and that is the Magpie Cream Pie show, in which I just talk about Newcastle stuff. So I will be live in about maybe 5 minutes or so from now. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the El Toro La Liga show. Yeah, it's a bit a long one, but it's been good. So yeah, until then, I will see you guys in terms. Well, it's literally in about 5 minutes, more or less. See you guys very soon.